You ever get sucked into those games? Those games that really grab you,
Oh, yeah.
and you just like you look up and like hours have gone by.
Yeah.
And it's not just because like the core loop is so addictive.
Right.
It's because you felt like you were somewhere else doing something.
You were there.
Yeah.
You were living it. Yeah.
And today we're diving into one of those games.
Okay.
A game that always comes up when people talk about detail
Yes.
and narrative and story.
Uh-huh.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
It's amazing how Red Dead Redemption 2 just keeps people talking.
Yeah.
Years later, they're still dissecting it and finding new things.
Yeah.
And for this deep dive, we've got a really fascinating collection of viewpoints, I think.
Yeah.
Everything from just, the raw reactions on forums, like Steam and Reddit.
Yeah, we've got the love, the hate.
The love, the hate, the everything.
Yeah.
And then we've got more considered pieces from, places like the Gamer Bee-Bomb Gaming Bible.
Right, more like the professional critic.
Exactly.
Kind of a viewpoint.
Yeah, and of course we've got that really useful background information from Wikipedia as well.
Of course, yeah.
The foundation.
And so we really want to get into like what makes this game tick.
Yeah.
Why is it considered to be one of the greats? And we're going to focus on the mechanics.
Yes.
Storytelling.
Yeah.
The impact.
And maybe even...
And what it tells us about what Rockstar is going to do next.
Yeah, like what about GTA 6? You know what's coming.
Exactly.
What are they cooking up?
So let's get right into it.
Let's go.
This question keeps coming up. Is Red Dead Redemption 2 the greatest game of all time? And we found this Steam forum thread.
Okay.
It's focused specifically on the story mode.
Right.
And the person who started it is firmly in the yes camp.
They love it.
They love it. They praise the technical stuff and the story.
Yeah.
What kind of responses did that get?
Well, you get a real mix, like this user, Maxi, they agreed. Talking about the graphics and the sounds and even how the NPCs really feel like people.
Yeah.
But then you have someone like a very spicy burrito
Okay.
who says no.
Okay.
Metal Gear Solid 3 has a better story.
Okay. Interesting.
And it just shows you that, it's all subjective.
Right.
When you're talking about something like a story.
Yeah, like what's the greatest is so...
It depends who you ask.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We had other people just jumping in with a big yes.
Yeah, just yes.
For the single player.
Deporting it.
Yeah, and then Janita brought up another game
Okay.
that people always compared to
Yeah.
The Witcher 3.
The Witcher 3.
They said they're both just amazing, brilliant games.
I mean, they are often mentioned together.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I think they both have this, like, huge world.
Yeah.
And it's not just empty. Like, they're filled with all this stuff to do and...
Stories.
Characters and stories, yeah.
And you really feel like you can make choices.
Yes.
In both of those games.
And they're both really long.
You really get your money's worth.
You do.
You get sucked in.
Yeah, and then you get the other side of it, right?
Right.
Like Left Paw called it a horse simulator.
Horse simulator.
I mean, it's funny, but...
But they're saying that the core gameplay is maybe not quite there for them.
Yeah, and then Anton had this idea that, like, the detail is incredible.
Yeah.
And the slow exploration is great.
The atmosphere.
Yeah, but maybe the actual, like, gunplay and the missions.
Yeah, the basics aren't the best ever.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And that atmosphere thing, like, a lot of people picked up on that.
Yeah.
Juice WSA put, like, 3,000 hours into this game.
Wow.
3,000.
That's a lot of hours.
That is a lot of hours.
Yeah.
And then you have XPotatoMoke29 who said it's, like, perfect.
Yeah, they said there's no real problems with it. It's just fantastic across the board.
And then KritoXX said it was one of the greatest.
Okay.
They love the immersion.
I have the RPG elements.
What do they mean by RPG elements?
It's like the character progression and like,
leveling up and stuff.
Yeah, leveling up your skills.
Yeah.
And the dialogue choices matter. You can customize your character.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Makes it more than just an action game.
Yeah, and they loved the story and just how open the world is.
Okay, but do they have any criticisms?
They did mention some bugs and the lack of DLC.
Right, DLC that's downloadable content.
Right.
It's like extra stuff you can buy.
Yeah.
Usually after the game is out.
Yeah, and they compared it to games like Fallout 4.
Okay.
Where the fans make a lot of mods.
Right.
And that kind of fills in the gaps.
So they're saying that Red Dead Redemption 2 could have used some more content?
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Interesting.
It wasn't all sunshine and roses, though.
Oh, really?
Dog meat. They enjoyed the first Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
But they had some problems with the second one.
Okay, like what?
They didn't like the save system.
And they thought that some of the missions were too on rails.
Too linear.
Yeah.
Like you're forced down a certain path.
Yeah.
Okay.
They also had some problems with, like, clothes glitching out.
Visual glitches.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's always good to get these different perspectives.
It is. It is.
Yeah, because even the best games have flaws.
Yeah.
Right?
So over on Reddit,
Yeah.
Mr. Morrissey 2017,
Okay.
they had this really passionate argument
About
Red Dead Redemption 2 being the best.
the best overall.
Yeah, they mentioned everything.
Wow.
The gameplay, the soundtrack, but the thing that they really focused on was
What was it?
the immersion.
Okay.
Like the feeling that you are actually in that world.
You're living there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they gave some really specific examples.
Okay.
Like if you're carrying an animal on your shoulder,
Mm-hmm.
that affects how you move.
Wow.
You bump into stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah, or even like kicking a rock,
Okay.
watching it tumble.
Yeah.
And,
The horse testicles.
yeah, like you can't make this stuff up.
It's those little things
It is those little things.
that make the difference.
Yeah.
It makes it feel real.
Yeah. And they also talked about the hunting,
Okay.
like how detailed it is and how it becomes this whole thing.
Yeah.
Even though it's not like the main part of the game.
Right. It just sucks you in.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
And another user, they didn't have a name.
Oh, a deleted account.
Yeah, they said that Red Dead Redemption 2 had set this unfair standard
Oh, wow.
for all other games.
Like it's ruined other games?
Yeah, because nothing else is as good.
Wow.
Yeah. And we also saw people comparing it to other big games,
Okay.
like The Last of Us Part 2,
Right.
Ghost of Tsushima,
Yeah.
God of War.
All great games.
They're all great.
Mhm.
But this Juggernaut 991 said that those still feel like games.
Okay.
Like you're just going through levels and killing stuff.
Yeah.
But Red Dead Redemption 2 is different.
It's more than that.
It's like you're really living in it.
Right. You're existing in the world.
Yeah.
Not just completing objectives.
Yeah. And another user who also deleted their account.
Okay. Another deleted account.
They talked about how much there is to do.
Yeah.
Like you can spend hundreds of hours and barely even touch the story.
Wow.
They said the details on another planet.
That's a great way to put it.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
And people even compared it to a newer game, Baldur's Gate 3.
Interesting.
Yeah, Jabena and Les G, they both saw these games as like these huge, ambitious projects
Okay.
with so much detail
Yeah.
and so much choice for the player.
It's almost overwhelming.
It's almost overwhelming, yeah.
Yeah.
And the Flack of Lighting, they talked about how it's a living, breathing world.
Okay.
You're pointing out how even the animals interact with each other.
Wow.
Like it's a real ecosystem.
That's amazing.
It is, yeah.
But did everyone agree that it's the best game ever?
Well, not everyone. Another deleted user.
Yeah.
They said that even if a game is the best at something,
Uh-huh.
that doesn't automatically make it better than everything else.
Mm-hmm. Right? Like, just because it has the best graphics doesn't mean it has the best story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they thought that Arthur Morgan was a great character.
Yeah.
But they thought the story was a bit messy.
Okay. A bit sloppy in places.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And Competition Square 240, they weren't happy with the combat
Okay.
or the wanted system.
Mm-hmm.
They said it was too much like an interactive movie.
Okay.
And they even said that the developers spent a lot of time
What?
on making sure that the horse anatomy
Oh.
was realistic.
Wow. Okay. They were really committed.
They were really committed.
To detail.
Yeah,
That's kind of amazing.
it is, yeah.
Yeah.
And Scotty6942069, they said that maybe there isn't one best game ever,
Okay.
but there are a lot of great games.
Yeah.
And Red Dead Redemption 2 is definitely one of them.
It's up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Shakespeare4666 said that they just liked hanging out in the world.
I get that.
Yeah.
Like just existing in that space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have people pushing back. Max Fax and his Damn 90, they said that maybe other games are better in some ways.
Yeah.
His Damn 90 even brought up Baldur's Gate 3 again.
Okay, so they're saying that maybe Baldur's Gate 3 is better in some areas.
Yeah, and Scanty Warrior Fu, they called Red Dead Redemption 2 more of an interactive cinematic experience.
Okay, so not even a game, really.
Right.
More of an experience.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and Sammy Vegas 0420, they said that Red Dead Redemption 2 has ruined other games for them
Oh, wow.
because nothing else is as detailed.
I set the bar too high.
It has.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this Juggernaut 9901, they talked about the NPCs
Okay.
and how realistic they are.
Right.
And how many little details there are.
Uh-huh.
They said it makes the game feel real.
Like you're really there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Industrial Foods Co., they praised how human the characters are
Yeah.
and all the emotions.
Yeah.
They gave some really great examples
Uh-huh.
of like touching moments.
Yeah.
But Life Custer 9250 had a different take. They didn't like how scripted the beginning of the game is.
Okay.
They felt like they didn't have any choices.
They wanted more freedom.
Yeah.
Right?
But then you have a Demi 47 who loved it so much.
Yeah.
That they bought it multiple times.
On different platforms.
Yeah.
Wow.
In Logical Yam 9514, they talked about spending hours just doing chores.
Chores?
Yeah. Like in the game world.
Like what kind of chores?
Like, taking care of your horse or cleaning your guns.
Okay.
And they said they loved it.
They just loved being in that world.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And one user said that it really helped them through a rough time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like it was an escape for them.
Yeah, like a comfort.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And everyone kept talking about the realism and the detail.
Yeah.
Glum Wrongdoer 2963 said it was second to none.
Yeah.
And Few Willingness 1897, they said it was cozy.
Cozy.
Yeah, like just existing in that world was cozy.
Wow.
And Moist Report 3356, they said the writing was like an HBO show.
Wow, that's high praise.
And Euphoric Bet 6625.
Yeah.
They said that finishing the game was psychologically moving.
Yeah.
And another user said that the game elevates gaming as a whole.
It's that good.
It's that good, yeah.
Wow.
And on Atterdam, they said that Red Dead Redemption 2 is technically the best game ever made.
Technically?
Yeah, like in terms of how everything comes together.
Okay.
Even if other games have better graphics or whatever.
Right.
And Young Vic 107 talked about all the fan content that people have made.
Like what kind of stuff?
Like, videos and artwork.
Okay.
And even like mods.
Cool.
Yeah, and Ebokillican, they said it's not even a game.
Okay.
It's an experience.
An experience.
Yeah, with this amazing world and this really sad story.
Right.
And a lot of people are really hoping that GTA 6 will be as detailed.
Yeah, they're setting the bar pretty high.
They are.
Yeah.
And do you event drift? And Mr. Morrissey 2017, they talked about how much there is to do even after you finish the story.
Yeah.
Like mini games and exploration.
Right.
But still Rusts, they said that it was almost too much.
Too much of a good thing.
Yeah, they said they prefer games that are a bit more balanced.
Okay.
And Lord Mord 5000, they said that replaying it years later is a different experience.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And Tits, they said they hope that Rockstar improves the shooting in future games.
Oh, okay.
And makes the survival elements a bit more challenging.
Right.
And Father Shambles, they said that the soundtrack reminded them of The Last of Us.
Interesting.
Yeah, and Sloppy Joestar, they got really mad at people who were being negative about the game in the subreddit.
Wow, they're passionate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And non-name available lefts, they just said it was miles ahead of other games.
Wow.
And La Turtle God, they actually used the game as an example.
Of what?
Of how video games can be art.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they talked about Arthur's development and the honor system.
Right.
But of course, there were still criticisms.
Yeah.
Jason ABCDEF. They had problems with the controls.
Okay.
And the movement and how you switch weapons.
Right.
And Eric Hitchmel 87. They made a distinction between best game ever.
Yeah.
And most fun.
It's not always the same thing.
Not always. Oh. No, in Vaco 1991, they didn't like how linear some of the missions were.
Okay.
And they thought the Deadeye system was unrealistic.
Interesting.
Yeah, in Gaming Bibles, they had this article for the 4-year anniversary.
Okay.
And they talked about how a lot of fans still think it's the greatest game ever.
They're still saying that.
Yeah.
4 years later.
4 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah, they loved the story, the detail, and how well it ran on the old consoles.
Yeah, that was impressive.
It was. Yeah. So we've heard from a lot of players.
Yeah.
But let's get into the actual mechanics.
Okay.
Like, what makes this game so immersive?
Yeah.
From a technical standpoint.
Yeah, let's get into the nuts and bolts.
Exactly.
Okay.
So Wikipedia tells us you can play in first person or third person.
Okay.
And it's a big open world.
You can go anywhere.
You can go anywhere.
Yeah, and what do you do in this world?
Well, you do all the classic Western stuff. Shootouts.
Yeah.
Robberies.
Yeah.
Hunting.
Animals. Yeah. Okay.
Horse riding.
Of course.
Talking to people.
Right.
And there's this honor system.
The honor system? What's that?
Like, if you do good things, you get good honor.
Okay.
And if you do bad things,
you get bad honor.
Yeah.
Does that affect the game?
It does, yeah.
No.
Like how people treat you.
Oh, okay.
And what missions you can get.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it's not just like a score.
No, it actually affects things.
Okay.
And there's a bounty system.
A bounty system.
Yeah, like you break the law,
Yeah.
you get a bounty on your head.
And then what happens?
Well, bounty hunters come after you.
Okay.
And the lawmen.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Even the U.S. Marshals.
So it's serious.
It's serious. Yeah.
But it's the details, right?
It's the details.
That really make this game special.
Yes, the little things.
Little things.
B-Bomb talked about how you interact with the world.
Yeah.
Like you actually have to reach down and loot bodies.
It's not just a button press. You're actually doing it.
Yeah, and cocking the different guns has different animations.
Wow.
Yeah, and even making coffee.
Making coffee.
Yeah, or serving stew.
They thought of everything.
They did.
Wow.
And it all looks so real.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And you can really customize your character.
Yeah.
B-Bomb mentioned how your facial hair grows.
Oh, that's cool.
And your weight changes depending on what you eat.
Wow. So it's like a real person.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And the horse bonding is crazy.
Horse bonding.
Yeah. What is that?
Like different breeds of horses have different personalities.
Okay.
And you have to bond with your horse.
How do you do that?
By taking care of it and riding it.
Okay.
And that affects how well it responds to you in the game.
Wow.
Yeah. And if your horse dies, it's dead.
Oh, wow.
You can't just get a new one.
It's permadeath.
Yeah.
So you really have to be careful.
You do. Yeah.
Wow.
And B-Bomb said that your guns can rust if you don't clean them.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a nice touch.
It is.
Yeah.
And Wikipedia talked about the gang's camp and how it's always changing.
Right.
And all characters have their own personalities.
Yeah.
And routines.
It feels like a real place.
It does, yeah. And Wikipedia also mentioned that you can actually choose which missions to do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you don't have to do everything.
So you can kind of shape the spirit.
Yeah, and there are dialogue trees.
Dialogue trees?
Yeah, like you can choose what to say in conversations.
And does that matter?
It does, yeah.
Oh.
It affects how people react to you.
Okay.
And it ties into the honor system.
Right.
So if you're honorable,
yeah,
you get different missions and stuff.
Than if you're dishonorable.
Exactly.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the story.
Okay.
The narrative.
Yeah. So the game is set in 1899.
Okay.
In America.
The Wild West.
Yeah, the Wild West is kind of dying out at this point.
Right.
And you play as Arthur Morgan.
Okay.
And he's part of the Vanderlyn gang.
A gang of outlaws.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Wikipedia tells us that this is actually a prequel.
A prequel to the first Red Dead Redemption.
Exactly.
Okay, so we already kind of know where this is going.
We do, yeah. It's a bit tragic.
Yeah.
And Wikipedia mentions some of the big plot points.
Okay, like what?
Like a bank robbery that goes wrong.
Okay.
And they end up going to this island called Guarma.
Guarma?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the gang starts to fall apart.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You're fighting amongst themselves.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the real heart of the story is Arthur.
Okay.
And his journey.
His character arc.
Yeah. He starts to doubt the leader, Dutch.
Okay.
And then he gets tuberculosis.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's bad.
It is. And he starts to think about his life.
Right.
And the things he's done.
Yeah, and the kind of man he wants to be.
Exactly.
Wow, that's heavy.
It is, yeah.
So B-Bomb talked about how we see a different side of Dutch.
Yeah.
In this game. Yeah, he's still charismatic.
Yeah.
But you can see how he's starting to crack.
Right. Like the events of the first game are starting to weigh on him.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And if you played the first game, you'll see some familiar faces.
Like who?
Like Edgar Ross.
Okay.
And Abigail Marston.
Oh, wow. So it ties into the first game.
It does, yeah.
That's cool.
And B-Bomb had a lot of praise for Arthur Morgan.
They said he's a great protagonist.
Yeah. They said he's really complex and well-written.
And well-acted, too.
Yeah. And they said the story is unpredictable. And Games Radar, they compared the epilogue to The Last of Us.
Wow.
Yeah, like in terms of how emotional it is.
Yeah.
And The Guardian, they said that even the little stories, like the side missions and stuff, add to the main story.
They flesh out the world.
Yeah, and EGM, they said that the best stories are the ones you find yourself.
Oh, wow.
Like when you're just exploring and you stumble across something.
Yeah.
But not all the reviews were positive.
Oh, really?
Game Informer, they liked how the story wasn't repetitive.
Yeah.
But GameSpot thought it was predictable in places.
Okay.
And Giant Bomb, they said that the Native American characters were a bit stereotypical.
Right.
So it's important to acknowledge that.
Yeah, definitely.
And some people had problems with the pacing.
Yeah.
The beginning is really slow.
Okay.
And the epilogue is really long.
Right.
But The Gamer, they said it's one of the best stories in gaming.
Wow.
And they even said that it's better if you ignore the main story.
What do they mean?
Like if you just go off and do your own thing.
Okay.
And create your own story.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Gaming Bible and Euphoric Bet 6625 on Reddit, they both talked about how emotional the story is.
Yeah.
So with all this talk about the detail in the story, it's natural to wonder what Rockstar is going to do next.
Right. Especially with GTA 6 on the horizon.
Exactly.
Everyone's wondering what that's going to be like.
Yeah, like Logical Yum 95.5 and a couple other people on Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
They're really hoping that GTA 6 will be as detailed
Yeah.
as Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
And B-Bomb mentioned that Red Dead Redemption 2 took 8 years to make.
8 years.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
It is.
Oh.
And that shows how committed Rockstar is.
To quality.
To quality.
Yeah.
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 And Gaming Bible, they pointed out how amazing it is.
Yeah.
That Red Dead Redemption 2 looks so good.
Yeah.
On the old consoles.
On the PS4 and the Xbox One.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So imagine what they can do with the new hardware.
It's exciting to think about.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
And VG247, they said that Red Dead Redemption 2 has set a new standard.
A new standard.
Yeah, for open world games.
Right.
So Rockstar can't really go back now.
No.
They have to keep pushing forward.
They got to raise the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Red Dead Redemption 2 was a huge commercial success.
It sold a lot of copies.
Yeah, over 70 million.
Wow.
So that shows that people want these big, detailed games.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it justifies the time and money that Rockstar puts into them.
Right. It's worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to wrap things up,
Okay.
Red Dead Redemption 2 is a game that people are still talking about
Yeah.
and arguing about.
Yeah.
And it's a game that's had a big impact.
On the industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The mechanics, the story,
The
world.
The detail, the ambition.
Yeah. It's all really impressive.
Yeah. It's a special game.
It is.
And it's hard to say if it's the best game ever.
Right.
But it's definitely up there.
It's definitely a contender.
Yeah.
So here's a final thought for you.
Okay.
We've talked a lot about the mechanics and the story of Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
What do you think Rockstar should do next?
In their future games.
Yeah, like what should they
Right.
keep doing?
Yeah.